Well, welcome back everyone to Wildwood Zoo. Hope you guys are all having the most wonderful days. My name is Leaf and it's so great to have you guys back here. So, we are finishing Wildwood Zoo. This is crazy. So, this is indeed the last speed build of, we'll just call it Season 1 because I'm not sure if I'll come back here or not. But it's the last build of, you know, the official Wildwoods kind of park. And I'm super excited for it because we're making a beautiful fallow deer habitat. These guys are easily one of my favorite animals to kind of interact with in real life because they're a common walkthrough species. Now, even though they are a common walkthrough species, I will not be allowing them to be walkthrough in this zoo. I really wanted the guests to look down into their habitat instead. Nothing really, it's more so just because I didn't want to build pathways for the guests, and it really didn't make sense for kind of the layout of the zoo. It would kind of disrupt it a little bit, and I really wasn't feeling it. So we kind of mirror the moose habitat a little bit, and we have it be this nice kind of, you know, valley kind of habitat, if that makes sense. So we have a beautiful big rock facade on like one side of it, and we're actually looking down into the habitat from the guest perspective. I'm really happy about that, and I hope you guys are too, because we're doing a little bit of funky building techniques in here. So keep in mind this is like recorded a few days apart, actually like at least a week apart from, you know, speed build to speed build. Because I was able to go to Florida, I was able to go back to Naples Zoo, beautiful place, makes me super happy when I'm there, you know, I'm able to go there, and I was able to share that with family, so it was just a very nice and special moment to me. But I hope you guys are enjoying your, like, Thanksgiving. I hope you guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving breaks and stuff like that for all my Americans. If you're European, I suggest you move over to America and get Thanksgiving, because it's just great. It's just great. Anyways, so we are talking about foliage right now. All the beautiful foliage that we throw throughout here. So I'm using the big saltwort bushes and the bracken. Not the bracken, but the lady ferns. I'm always going to mess that up. But I'm using these in conjunction with each other because it has this beautiful look when it all works together. And I'm using larger blueprints this time around. Again, I talked about this in a previous video, but when you're working with larger habitats kind of like this, you want to keep in mind that when you're not doing tiny details, you can make your pieces a little bit bigger. And by pieces, I mean your groups. So you can see I'm utilizing the large saltwort bushes, and I'm utilizing a whole bunch of larger groups of rocks to copy paste them, kind of like I did right there. Oh, geez, okay, there we go. Maybe I brought back a little bit of a souvenir from Florida. It's called illness. It's called illness, but you can see I'm adding the rest of the ferns all throughout there, and kind of leading up to the little food court area, just making sure that that all flows together. This whole area right back there is kind of a dead zone. I don't really have any animals to go there. I easily could have put, you know, some other animals like, you know, prairie dogs in here. I know some people were asking for those. People were asking for California sea lions, American bison. When all things are considered, though, I'm happy with the roster of the park, and I hope you guys are too, because I didn't want to go too big, because you know what happens when we go too big? You end up like City Conservation Center, and we kind of know how that ended out, right guys? But no, I'm just super happy that we were able to really complete this. I know lots of you guys really cared about City Conservation Center, I do too, but it's just not in the cards for me to finish it right now. I'm just not interested in it, but we should probably talk about what's coming next. The Grasslands Animal Pack was released. Not released, but it was at least shown off to us, so I'm very excited for all that stuff to come into play, because we're going to use a lot of those new pieces so much in whatever zoo we do next. There's a whole lot of new grasses, along with, like, you know, the whole South America thing. We're getting armadillos, Maine wolves, butterflies. We're getting so many awesome animals. I just can't wait, guys. So that's going to be super awesome. So I'm going to start to dabble with some ideas on what we could actually build when all things are considered. Because admittedly, grasslands is a kind of weird theme. It's kind of like, not wetlands, because wetlands was actually super easy to build the zoo around. But grassland is just so weird. I don't know, it kind of reminds me of conservation. Conservation pack was really the grassland pack for me too. I just feel like most of the animals in there were grassland animals. Probably because we got all those new grass pieces, but I'm not really sure. We should probably talk about the habitat too, since that's what the whole video is about today. So you can see I'm utilizing a whole bunch of new blueprints over here. I'm using leaders feeders. Love saying that. And yeah, I just plop a few of those down into the habitat itself, kind of decorating the edge of the water with some rocks around there, just making sure that that's nice and consistent with the rest of the zoo, and adding a few enrichment pieces for the fallow deer as well. I know a lot of people usually ask on like the subreddit and stuff like, if you play sandbox, do you still use enrichment? And I'm like, hell yeah, I do. Enrichment has like some of the most unique animations for all the animals in the game, and I just feel like it's so incomplete without enrichment, you know? Because whenever you go to like a real zoo or anything like that, you always see enrichment all over the place. Whether it's like a simple roadside zoo or if it's a high budget zoo like San Diego, you'll see a lot of stuff like enrichment. You'll see boxes, you'll see feeders, you'll see balls, all this kind of stuff that's like all throughout the zoo to keep the animals happy. Also adding the rest of the foliage, you guys know this by now, adding like our aquatic foliage around the water itself, and I tried to design the habitat in a way so that the deer wouldn't go in the water, because I made it a little too deep. That's what I hate about Planet Zoo sometimes. You make the water a little bit too deep and then like all of your animals are swimming all the time, and it's so weird. I just want my animals to like ignore water most of the time. It's just so uncanny whenever they swim. But we still make do with that. So we add a few of the colorful trees inside the habitat, and I also add the leaves in the habitat as well. It's just keeping in line with the rest of, you know, Wildwood Zoo, making sure that it's nice and colorful as I want it to be. And yeah, just adding a few tiny trees here and there, and that's really it. We're entering the cinematics. So a lot of the stuff that you see here will be a lot more colorful in our tour video, which should be coming out this week. I say this week. It's going to be out within the next few days. I also have another tour of someone else's zoo that I'm super excited to show off relatively soon. So I hope you guys are excited for that one as well. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. You guys are literally the best. Be sure to like and comment on the video if you guys did enjoy it. It always does help us out for engagement. And yeah, that's really it. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope you all have the most wonderful of wonderful days. And goodbye now.